everybody, it's Kathy Champion and welcome back to my craft room. I thought today we would work on a Valentine's card, and I just recently got this Brutus Monroe cardstock in Rouge, which is a beautiful pink. This is just gorgeous. It looks like a just a really nice deep pink color, and I really do like this. So I'm going to use one sheet of this to make my card base, and I want to do a 5x7 card. And I know some people think that it's a little bit of a waste because you only get one card out of a piece of cardstock, but I like the feel and the size of a 5x7, and I'm sure that some of you would agree with me. It's just, to me, it's just a nice substantial card. So in order to get that, we're going to cut the 8.5 inch side down to 7. So this is going to give us our 7 inch side. And then this side, we're going to cut, the 11.5 inch side, we're going to cut to 10, and then we're going to score it at 5. So let's go ahead and slice that. And now we have our card base, and we need to go ahead and score this because we're gonna make this a shaker card. We did the shaker butterfly, and I thought, what would be any better than to follow that up with a shaker card. I think I'm trying to teach you some techniques. So in this one, we're going to do the shaker card, but we're going to use foam tape instead of fun foam to build our element and everything on the inside. So we'll get to that as we go along. But let me find my bone folder, and here we go. And we're just going to go ahead and score this right down at 5. Nice crisp. And then I'm going to fold that over and crease it down, just like that. And now we have a nice 5x7 card. So what we need to do now is decide where we want our window for our shaker card to live. And I'm going to use these Peekaboo circle dies from Gina Marie. And this is what they look like. And I'm going to use the larger one. And I want it to go right in the middle. So I want this to go right about maybe just a hair up to the top. Yeah, I think right about there would be good. Or so I've heard. So we are going to go ahead and pull out a piece of this paler pink. And yes, I'm making it up as I go because I wasn't sure where I was going with this. But I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and cut a mat for this. This way I can make this work. I'm going to cut this mat at 4 7/8. So let's open up our arm. 4 7/8 would be right there. 4 7/8, and we know that it's 7 inches long, so we're going to do it at 6 7/8. That's just going to give us a wee little bit of a border all the way around, and I think that'll be pretty on the card. And also we can build our window on this rather than our card, and I think this will work really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and decide where I want my window to live. So again, we're going to use this Peekaboo die, and I want it to be about middle way. Now we're going to bring in our die cut machine. So just had to back up a little bit and regroup, but we're back where we were. I didn't think it through well enough on the first run. But hey, that's okay. We're all crafting together, and you know, if you're like me, this is the way we craft in real life. So I'm going to lay that down, and I'm letting that magnetic plate grab that die. So that way I know that it's going to be where I want it. And I think I am going to do that in the middle. So in order to get my middle, or somewhat close by, I'm going to measure from the top and it's 1 1/4. And I need to come down this way just a little bit. And I think that's going to do it. Let's see what we have. We have that looks just about right there. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and run this through and cut that little peekaboo hole out. And this particular die is great for cutting circles out of any of your card fronts. And you'll see why when I take this out, and you'll see the cute little piece that we're going to have cut. Oop. Now, isn't that cute? I love that little peekaboo hole. It has the stitching around it. And you can hang on to this piece because we might be able to use that for something different a little bit later on. So I'm going to move this back out of our way. And now what we're going to do is we need a piece of acetate to cover the back of this. So this is the steps that I would take in making any card. You're going to choose the card, choose your mat, choose your die cut, and once you get your die cut, then you want to get a piece of acetate that's going to cover that area. And I have a piece right here, just by Coinky Dinks, that is going to fit perfect. Oh, I love that. It's actually going to fill in. You know, I may cut it down just a little bit this way. It doesn't need to be quite that long. So I am going to take off about 1.5 inches. And I think that's going to work. Now make sure when you're doing this, if you use the same die, make sure that your front is facing up because your acetate needs to go to the back. Just like that. Okay. So I am trying to decide if I want to use sticky tape to put this down on, or if I want to use, I think I'm going to go with some sticky tape. So I'm going to bring this up here so I can see. When I put acetate down on my glass mat, I don't get a real clear picture of what I have there. So for those reasons, I really like putting it on this little green mat, because then I can see my acetate. And that helps me to know that I'm putting my tape exactly where I want it to be. I'm just going to run a piece of tape up that side, and I'm going to take my little snips and snip that off. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm going to butt this up right up against that and run it all the way to the end and trim it. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to take and just butt that right up to there. Just like that. Snip it. And the reason I'm snipping it is I want to have a nice solid square all the way around this. Oops. It needs to go over just a little bit. Let's put it back down and get it flattened out, and then we'll come again. Okay, we're at about there. And then we can snip that off even right there. There. Now we've got our tape all the way around, and this is going to make it really easy to be able to pull these up. There's the, And let's see, we need this little piece. And just be careful not to get your hand in your tape when you're doing this, because it is a little bit hard to work with if you get your fingers stuck on it. And you don't want this piece to get twisted or turned or anything like that. You want to keep it intact as best you can. So I'm going to take a hold of it this way. And I'm going to bring my piece back over, looking to make sure I've got, this is my front, and this is the back side. Now I'm going to take this and very, very gently, making sure that I'm covering that window completely. I'm going to just sit that down on there and press it down. And I'm even going to go for a step further on this. I'm going to use my bone folder just to press that tape down into the paper, making sure we got a nice secure cover on that. Now we've got our little window, and we are ready now to put our foam tape on it, because we're going to need something that's going to allow this to sit up. We are going to build up a ridge in here, and we are going to then put this on the front of our card. And we're going to have a window because this is going to live up above everything, and when we put the sticky tape around that to build it, it's going to create a pool that we can put our little goodies in. And I've got some ideas for some goodies, but before I do that, I want to take that same die and I want to lay it just where it's going to be laying, which is going to be just down a little bit. Line it back up again and make sure that it is where I want it. I think that's close enough, and I'll tell you why I did that. I want to put just some little tick marks like here and here and here and there and maybe right there. And the reason I did that, and you can see where they're at, I want to know where I can stick some gems, because I want some gems that's actually going to be stuck where everything doesn't fall into the bottom. I also want to stamp a sentiment in there. So that's the reason why I wanted this. I wanted to see exactly where it's going to live, so I'll know exactly what where my perimeter is going to be. So, alright, so the next thing we need to do is decide what we want to put in the middle. I'm going to stamp my sentiment first. So let me grab some stamps and we will be right back. Okay, I'm back and I found this stamp. This is from a collection called, it's a Spellbinder set. Let's see if I can make these down in here a little bit and see if I can see the name of them. Maybe I can open it up again. It is called Tiny Sentiments. And it is a clean stamp set, and like I said, it's a Spellbinders. And I've had this for quite some time, and I absolutely love these cling stamps. Now these are the little bit thicker ones. They're not like the cling stamps that we're used to in the photopolymer, but these work just as good. And what I want to do is I'm going to cut another circle out of this particular die. This die is so gorgeous, and I want to do it in white because I really want this to pop inside of that circle. So I am going to lay my acetate card over there and move everything out. I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut this is the Brutus Monroe's Not Your Mama's cardstock, and you can see how heavy it is. But when you are doing elements like this, this is the cardstock to use. Now I'm just going to cut this, and I'm not going to do it on camera because it takes time to move the die cut machine, and it's already sitting right here. It's not like y'all haven't seen me cut. Anytime that I'm trying to line something up and I feel like I need to show you how to do that, that's when I feel the need to bring the die cut machine over. So I am just going to pull this off. Let's see if it did. Cut it beautifully. And we got to poke out the little pieces because these, this is what makes this piece so pretty, is all of these little pieces that come out. And this can be a little bit time consuming, but it's well worth it. You know, some people like to throw a card together that they can do in 5 minutes, and there is a time for that. But you know, the cards that I enjoy doing the most are the ones that I really sit and put a lot of thought and effort in. Because usually those cards, I'm making them for someone that's very special in my life, someone that I love. And more than likely, I'm going to give this one to my husband for Valentine's Day. Unless I come up with something that I think you might like better. But for right now, I'm going to go with that. And if I don't do it for that, I'm sure I'll have someone else to give this card to. I do still want to remind y'all that the giveaway is still going underway. Let me check real quick and I can tell you where we're at. And hopefully we're not too far from our goal. I think it was 21 as of last night. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Oh, come on. One more to go. Here we go. We are up, we got 479, so yeah, we need 21 more people to subscribe. And if you are watching and you have not entered the giveaway, go over to my videos on my homepage. If you go over and click videos, and it will show all of the videos, go down and find the one that says Let's Talk, and that will show you what the prize is, and it will also show you exactly how to enter. So once we reach the 400 mark, I will be giving that away. So I'm deciding whether I want to do this. I think I'm going to go with my black shadow. I really am loving that ink. And I'm thinking too, if I decide I want to color the little design in here, it's like a little flower and some leaves, I'll be able to do that and do it on with my alcohol markers rather than my combos. So, and I love, love, love my Nuvo alcohol markers. They are such a good deal for what you get. I'm just going to bring another piece of cardstock over and stamp this off just to make sure, because I haven't used this one before, I don't think. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? I am seeing a little bit of hairs in that, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If you look really close, right in there, it looks like little tiny hairs. You see it? I want to clean that up. So in order to do that, there's probably some type of little fibers on there. I'm going to rub this on my squeaky clean mat. And I'm going to try it again. And a lot of times, if you have any little misgivings on your stamps, anywhere where it's picked up lint or anything like that, that's exactly where you'll see that at. And if you run it through the squeaky clean, those little Velcro loops that stick up will grab it. And then you'll have a much cleaner stamped image. Oh yeah, that's much, much better. So we're ready to stamp that. I always like to do a little trial run. So I am going to get this just like I want it. And now I'm going to sit this in the middle. And it lifted up. I hope that didn't mess up, but I felt it when it lifted up. Hopefully it didn't. We'll see. And you know what? If it did, it's no big deal. It's just paper. We'll cut another one and we will go until we get it right. It's just the way it is. Okay, let's hope. Oh, it didn't move. That's a blessing right there. Like I said, it's not a big deal. If it did, we would just, do it again. But we didn't have to. All right. So I'm going to close up my ink, and now we need to decide exactly how we want that to live in there. And I've got something on this that is looking a little wonky. I don't think it's going to matter once we get everything in it. It's like it might just be a flaw in the acetate. Acetate is very seldom perfect. So, okay, before we put this down, what I want to do is build this up with our three-dimensional tape. So I'm going to use Scotch 3M tape, and this is my roll. And I have used off of this. This roll was like that much when I bought it. I love, love, love this tape. So I know that I'm going to need a piece that is almost 7. So we're going to go to 7 because I'd rather for it to lap over than to not be enough. You can always trim it down. But this is where you've got to be crucial that you are getting your foam tape all the way around the edge. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come down to about I'm making some marks, and what I'm doing is I'm measuring the width of that tape and I'm marking it that way. So I know that I'm going to run this piece down from here all the way down. Just like that. I think that's going to be okay right there. Alright, so we're going to cut this piece off and turn it around so that you don't cut your cardstock. This way you can cut this and you will not cut your cardstock, because you don't want to do that. Now this, I'm going to cut these pieces in half. And I'm going to use these to run around here. So what I want to do is I'm going to cut this off at an angle. Let's make sure I'm angling it the right way. Yeah. Right about here. And you can actually use those lines on the back of the tape to kind of be a guideline. But you can see that this now is going to fit right there. And I'm going to kind of turn it as I put it on there, because you're going to want to enclose this all the way around. And we're going to do the same thing here. I am going to cut that off like that so I can butt this piece right up to it. Just like that. And you want to turn this, and it will not hurt if it's got a little crinkle in it. Just like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down the other side. About 7 inches. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit more. We'll use that around the edges. So we are going to do the same thing here. We're going to do from this line all the way down. And you want to make sure that you are staying on the edge of your card. See how I'm keeping this, well, I was, until I set it. You want to make sure that you're keeping this pulled over enough that it's clearing the side of your card so it's nice and flush right there. So then again, you're going to turn this over and you're going to cut these little pieces off. Just like that. And we're going to cut these. So we're not going to waste any of this tape. We're going to get it all in here to fill in. And we're going to get that in there just like that. And we're going to trim this off almost at that same little angle. And this stuff is so forgiving, so you can take it up and put it back down and it will work. You see? That's perfect. Now we're going to get a piece in here, so we're going to need to angle cut that right about there. I really think this 3M tape was made for this because the way the plaid is on the back, it gives you where you can angle cut it almost perfectly, which I think is fantastic. So again, here's a little place that needs to be snipped, just like that. And all these little tiny pieces, you just want to throw them away. We really don't have a need to save those. Now we do need a piece across the top. So I am going to measure, and I'm going to over measure because I need a couple more little pieces. And we're going to put this down just like that and butt it right up against this. Oops. And then we're going to turn it over and do the same thing again. We're just going to trim that off. And now we're going to finish running this around the outer edge. And we still have a piece down here that we're going to need to run. But not a big deal because we've got plenty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right against that and I'm going to try turning it just like so. And you really want to use your fingers to mash that down. You pretty much have to manipulate it. And it's not hard to do. You just got to use a little brute force strength and you can get that in there. And see, this piece is going to need to be angled. And that is going to go right about here and come up right about there. Okay, one more piece across here, and this piece needs to be, it's nice to measure it because that way you're not cutting more than you need. 4 3/8, so we need 3 3/8, yeah. 3 3/8, which will not be a hard cut. So let's do it like this. 3, and this piece needs to be more exact, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to go to the 3/8, which is going to be right there, and I'm going to cut it off right here. Just like that. And hopefully this is going to fit right in here. Yep, that's off just a hair, but that's okay. We're just going to take a hair off of it, just like that. Alright, now when we put this down on here, as you can see, it's going to give us a raised area that will allow us to have this live in here. Like so. And we're going to put some little jewels and some little pieces of confetti, maybe some hearts in there. And I really like that. I think it's very pretty. We're going to glue that flat down. So I'm going to just bring that up. And I am going to make some more little marks. So just enough so I'll know where to put this down at. Because I want to take it up and put glue on it, but I want to make sure that I knew my placement for it. So that works out real good to put those little marks down. And they are pencils, so if you see that they're showing, you can just take your eraser and erase them. Alrighty, now the other thing I want to do is I want to grab some little jewels. I can actually take these pencil marks away. This pencil's not the best one for erasing. Usually a gum eraser or even one of these little things like this will do much better for erasing this without destroying your cardstock. Unless you have a white core. If you have a white core, you're going to mess it up. The good thing about this is that's going to all be covered. So let's go and lay this back over. I'm not liking the fact that that's showing a little bit. Maybe when we pull that off we can manipulate it a little bit more. Let's try it and see. I do want to get down my other little things that I want to go in there prior to gluing it down. But I still think this is going to be gorgeous. And we're just going to lift all these backers off. Quite a bit of backers on when you do a project like this, but it is so worth it because this will make a statement. And again, this is another way of doing a shaker card. This is a traditional shaker card. Now, that is showing over on that side, and I don't want that. So I'm thinking I'm pulling that back with my fingernail just a little bit, and I'll be right back. Alright, we have gotten that glued down, and I did a little trial run, laying this over it, and I think that looks good, but I want to put some little gemstones, so I'm going to get my little jewel picker, and I'm going to use some art glitter glue, and I'm going to kind of lay these around on here first and just kind of get an idea where I want these to lay. And I'm thinking just, you know, here and there, just something to really brighten that up. And I also am thinking that I want to color that little flower in there. I think that would be really pretty to just add a little bit of color. And I'm thinking that I might do a red, or I might just stick with the color theme of pink. I like that. These look really cute in here, and they just need to go just here and there. No particular order. Just like that. Once I get them placed where I want them, then it's much easier to pick them up one at a time and glue them back down. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. And I'll do the same thing right here. These little jewel pickers, these things are wonderful for using for your embellishments like this, because you can control it. I say that and then I drop it. Okay, let's pick it up again. So we can drop it in the glue. That would be a good thing. And once you pick it up like that and you get it right into that glue, it is not going anywhere. So that's the good thing. Now that adds just a little shimmer, a little sparkle to our card. Alright, let me find some other little things to put in there and we'll be right back. Okay, what I did is I went ahead and grabbed these little silver sequins, and these are from Nouveau. And I used a punch that I had in my stash that makes these little hearts. And I punched it out of a strip that was left over from where we cut the card base. So that did not go to waste. So what I want to do is I'm going to use this Nouveau glitter marker. And these are so cool. I love glitter, but I don't like the mess of it. A lot of us crafters are that way. So I'm going to glitter up this little flower. The leaves, the petals. I think that this will add so much with just doing a little work. So the two little leaves right here, I'm just going to do them in a green. I'm not going to try shading or anything on this because we've got the glitter. It won't need too much of anything else, due to the fact that these glitter markers are just beautiful. And I think I want to do my flower. How about a real pretty lavender or purple? This looks really more blue. Let me check the color on a little white piece of paper. That's always a good rule of thumb. Okay, let's try it on this. I think that'll go good with this without being too overly dramatic. Let's try this one. This is another blue. This one looks more of a teal. And that one's pretty too, but I think I'm going to go with the first one. I also have a purple. This one is more of a raspberry. I think I want the raspberry. There I go, changing my mind once again. I am famous for doing that. But I think this is going to be pretty on the flower. And I'm going to do just a little bit in the center. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot just to add a little extra to your cards. You just kind of have to think outside the box, and you need to try to choose colors that will go good together. I'm going to use this gold on the outside petals. I think that will really bring this all together. It's going to look yellow. When you're coloring with these, you can feel the glitter in them just a little bit, but they go on really well. They're very smooth. I think they color really, really well. If y'all hear a beep in the background, it's my microwave. I put some hamburger in the microwave to thaw out for supper. We're going to do Mexican, and I need to go get that out. But it's not going to hurt anything. We're just going to hear the beep beep. So now I'm just going to put some of these little hearts, and I just kind of want them to live in between those little sequins like that. Just over here and there. And the reason I'm placing these in is I don't want to get too many, because I don't want to take away from the card. So I'm just going to throw some in, and I think that's plenty. So now I'm going to take this part of our card and very, very carefully, knowing that we're just going to have that little bit of a border edge, I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to come over a little bit more. This is where you have to be so careful, because you can throw off everything that you've done. So, excuse me if I get my head in the camera, but I need to get this lined up. Just like that. Now the hearts are going to kind of beat around in there a little bit, and that's what we want. We want those little, the shaker element to be there. Now it looks like it's a little off down here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors, and I am going to trim this. You know, I don't think I am. I think I'm going to leave it just like it is. I do want to stamp some sentiments on here. Maybe this one that says "From my heart," and then put "with much love." I think that would be so cute on here. From my heart, with much love. I love that. I think that's going to be, maybe if we do one here and one here. Like that. And I got some flowers that I wanted to use on here, but I'm not sure if those are the right ones now. think I picked these up at Tuesday morning sometime back, and I thought they were so cute with their little stems. I love flowers like this that have the stems on them. I think that they can just add so much dimension and character to your projects. But I'm not sure that these are the right flowers for this card, so I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to stick these back in the package, and we're going to do something a little bit different. I think I'm going to put that like this and like that, and then I may stick down some hearts here and here. I'm just wondering if I can get a good okay, I have a thought. And you know I forgot to put these in. I meant to put some of these in. Too late now. This card is together. That is one thing when you are making a shaker card. You really have to think of outside the box and ahead of the box, or you will mess up. Not that it's a mess up. It's still a very pretty card, don't you think? I think it is. I think what I want to do with these is I am going to use this to draw a piece from here, and I'm going to cut that out. Again, thinking outside the box, and that's what I want to challenge you to do, is to really think outside the box. I'm going to use this fine tip pen just to go in. Circle around that, just like that, and I'm going to lay this one down, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come in. Doesn't have to be neat. We just basically want to get the shape of this. And when I cut these, I'm going to cut them a tiny bit bigger than what they are. Just like that. So I'm going to be right back. While I'm away, I am going to fussy cut these out. I am going to stamp these on white, and then we're going to see if we can make these all fit together. So once we do that, we're going to come back together and we will go from there. I'll be right back. I got to go turn my microwave off. It's beeping. Alright, we are finally back, and I had to do a little bit of fancy footwork to get my card to come together for me, and I'm going to explain to you why. I should have stamped whatever sentiment I was going to do on here, but I didn't think to do that before I put the tape on the back of this piece. So now I have uneven places here. So because they're uneven, it's going to be impossible to stamp. So what I did is I took the two sentiments that I wanted from my heart with much love. I stamped it on a piece of this cardstock, and then I fussy cut around the words, and that works fine. So then I went back and I punched out some more of the little hearts like I put in here, and I want to put a couple of them on each corner, something like this, and something like this. But I am thinking that I want to pop these up. So in the process of getting everything together with this, I'm going to go ahead and grab some little pop dots. And I've got these little square ones I think will be perfect for the back side of those hearts. So I'm going to use these on the hearts. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue one flat and one up. That gives you that uneven dimension that just always looks good on a card. So we're going to glue one of them flat. think I let my glue sit out too long. But anyway, we're going to do one, so I can get my glue started again. Let's see if we can pop the pin back in it, and hopefully that will break our clump. Yeah, I think that did it. So we're going to do some glue right here. And I'm going to put this one down right about there. And then I'm going to put a dimension on this one. Just like that. And then we can place this one like it's sitting right beside of it, but up just a hair or down. Just like that. Isn't that cute? That gives you a little dimension without causing a whole lot of work. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put some glue on the back of this one and place it down. And then I want to put the little pop dot anytime you're dealing with the little tiny pieces, they are a little tedious, but I love them. I love the little tiny elements on a card. I think it adds so much. And then we're going to glue this one just like that. Now I need to put some dimensionals. And for this one, I think I'm just going to go ahead and use some of my Scotch tape. I'm just going to cut off a little piece. And I think we can probably cut this in two, because we're not going to need a great big piece. We're just going to need a little bit. Oh yeah. So I want this to live right here on this corner. And then this one is going to go right about and you know, if you find that it's not fitting, don't be afraid to take your scissors and just snip it off wherever you don't want it, and you can make it work. That's the good thing about using foam tape. You can make it what you want it to be. And so this is going to live right about here, all popped up. So I am not going to do anything on the inside, because I think with this, like I said, this will probably be my Valentine's card to my husband, because it is from my heart with much love, because I could not ask for a more awesome husband. I want to bring that up so y'all can see it. Isn't that pretty? I love the sparkles on it. I love the fact that we got the shaker effect, and I thought it just turned out really cute. I am going to put a piece of white in here so that I can handwrite a message, because I think that will make my card go over the edge just a little bit. But I really love this, and I hope that y'all like watching the process of me fumble through it, and I did. But we got it. Nevertheless, we got this card done, and I really am loving it. So I hope that y'all liked it, and I hope that you got a little bit of inspiration, and perhaps I taught you a little bit on how to do a shaker card. And the pieces do shake around in there, but they are catching on the edges of the circle. But you can see they do move around, and just a really fun element on that card. But if you like this card, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you try this card or something similar to it, be sure to go over to our Facebook group at Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion and join our group. We would love to have you. We are just a crafting family. We love each other. I would say the vast majority of us love the Lord, and we love each other. So come and be a part of us. We welcome you. And once again, as I always say in closing, be kind to someone, tell someone you care about them, lend an encouraging word, and above all else, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. I love you all, and I thank you once again for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.